In the opulent glow of his luxury car's headlights, billionaire Alexander Voss stared in disbelief as his frail mother trudged along the dirt road, a heavy bundle of firewood balanced precariously on her bent back. His fiancée, Sophia, let out a disdainful laugh from the passenger seat. "Is that really your mother? How embarrassing." In that heart-wrenching moment, Alex's world shattered. He turned to Sophia, his voice cold as steel, and said, "This engagement is over. I deny you." But how did a man who had everything come to this pivotal denial? Stick around, because this story of rags to riches, betrayal, and unbreakable family bonds will leave you in tears and inspired. And just when you think it's all falling apart, Alex Voss wasn't always the titan of industry he had become. Born in the dusty village of Eldridge Hollow, nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains, Alex grew up in a one-room shack with his widowed mother, Elena. She was a woman of quiet strength, her hands calloused from years of scrubbing floors and chopping wood to keep their meager fire burning through harsh winters. Alex's father had died in a mining accident when he was just 5, leaving Elena to raise him alone on the scraps of odd jobs and the occasional charity from neighbors. Young Alex would watch her every evening, her back aching as she carried firewood from the forest edge, her face etched with lines of worry but always softened by a smile for him. "One day, my boy," she'd whisper, tucking him into their shared bed, "you'll rise above this. But never forget where you came from. Roots are what keep us standing tall." As a child, Alex dreamed big. He was sharp-minded, devouring every book he could borrow from the village school. By age 12, he was fixing neighbors' broken radios and tinkering with old engines, earning pennies that he saved religiously. Elena sacrificed everything, skipping meals so he could have new shoes for school, mending his clothes until they were threadbare. Her love was fierce, unspoken in words but shown in every act of endurance. Alex vowed to himself that he'd make her proud, lift her out of poverty. But life in Eldridge Hollow was unforgiving. Winters brought blizzards that isolated them, summers drought that withered their tiny garden. Alex's best friend, Tommy, lost his father to the same mines, and the two boys would huddle by the fire, sharing stories of escape. "We'll get out of here," Alex would say, his eyes blazing with determination. Tommy nodded, but deep down, Alex knew he had to do it alone. Tommy's family needed him at home. High school was a turning point. Alex won a scholarship to a boarding school in the city, thanks to his impeccable grades and a science fair project on renewable energy that caught the eye of a visiting professor. Leaving Elena was the hardest thing he'd ever done. She stood at the bus stop, her eyes misty, pressing a small locket into his hand, a photo of his father inside. "Go make your mark, Alex. But come back to me." The bus pulled away, and Alex felt a pang of guilt that would haunt him for years. In the city, he thrived. College followed on a full ride, majoring in engineering. He interned at tech startups, his innovative ideas turning heads. By 25, he founded Vostech, a company specializing in sustainable energy solutions. His breakthrough, affordable solar panel system for rural areas, catapulted him to billionaire status within a decade. Mansions, private jets, galas with celebrities, Alex had it all. But in the whirlwind of success, visits home grew rare. Elena refused to leave the village, insisting, "This is my home, son. Your fancy world isn't for me." Phone calls sufficed, but Alex sent money, enough to build her a new house, hire help. Yet she lived simply, donating most to the community. Enter Sophia Langford. She was the epitome of high society, stunning, ambitious, with a family legacy in finance. They met at a charity ball, her laughter like crystal, her eyes sparkling under chandeliers. Sophia was drawn to Alex's power, and he to her poise. Their courtship was a fairy tale, yacht trips to the Mediterranean, diamonds that could buy villages. Within a year, he proposed on a Parisian rooftop, the Eiffel Tower twinkling below. "You'll love meeting my family," he told her, excitement bubbling. Sophia smiled, but there was a flicker of hesitation. As long as they're not too rustic, she joked. Alex laughed it off, but deep down, he worried. Sophia thrived in luxury. Eldridge Hollow was worlds away. The drive home was meant to be joyous. Alex had planned a surprise. He'd bought land to build a community center in the village, honoring Elena. Sophia chattered about wedding venues, her designer dress swishing as she adjusted the air conditioning. The city faded behind them, replaced by winding mountain roads. As dusk fell, the car's beams caught a figure ahead, Elena, older now, her hair grayer, struggling with a load of firewood. She hadn't accepted the help Alex hired. Stubborn pride made her insist on doing things herself. Alex's heart clenched. He pulled over, but before he could speak, Sophia's voice cut through the silence like a knife. "Oh my God, Alex, is that a homeless woman? Wait, is that your mother? Carrying sticks like some peasant? How utterly pathetic." Her words hung in the air, venomous and cold. Alex froze, his world tilting. In that instant, memories flooded back. Elena's sacrifices, her unwavering love. And here was Sophia, judging her without a shred of empathy. Rage boiled within him. "Get out," he said quietly. Sophia blinked. "What?" "I said, get out. This engagement is over. I deny you. Deny everything you represent." She stared, shocked, as he opened the door. But as she stepped out into the night, a storm brewing overhead, Alex drove away, leaving her stranded. What would happen next? Would he reconcile with his past, or had he just destroyed his future? Alex sped toward the village, tears blurring his vision. He hadn't planned this, hadn't imagined the confrontation. Pulling up to the old shack, now modestly renovated, he leaped out and ran to Elena. She dropped the firewood in surprise, her arms opening wide. "Alex? What's wrong, my boy?" He collapsed into her embrace, sobbing like the child he once was. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I've forgotten who I am." Over tea by the fire, he poured out his heart, the success, the isolation, Sophia's cruelty. Elena listened, her wise eyes understanding. "Success changes people, but it doesn't have to change your soul," she said softly. "You've built an empire, but empires fall without strong foundations." That night, as rain pelted the roof, Alex reflected on his journey. He realized his wealth had blinded him to the simple joys, family, humility, roots. The next morning, word spread through Eldridge Hollow. Sophia, furious, had hitched a ride back to the city and was already spinning tales to the press. Billionaire dumps fiancée over peasant mother. Tabloids exploded, painting Alex as heartless. His stock dipped, investors called emergency meetings. Friends distanced themselves, whispering about his unstable behavior. Even Tommy, now a local mechanic, confronted him. "You left her on the road, man. That's cold." Alex felt the weight of judgment, doubting his decision. Had he overreacted? Sophia texted please, then threats, "You'll regret this. I know your secrets." "What secrets?" Alex paced the shack, anxiety mounting. Elena urged calm, but as reporters swarmed the village, invading their privacy, Alex faced a crisis: defend his choice or cave to pressure? Just when he thought he could handle it, a bombshell dropped. Sophia leaked emails, private ones where Alex confessed his humble origins, admitting he'd exaggerated his backstory to investors early on. "I came from nothing," one read, "but I made myself." Twisted by her, it sounded like fraud. The SEC launched an inquiry. Vosteka's board demanded his resignation. Alex's empire teetered. In despair, he retreated to the forest where he'd played as a boy, chopping wood himself to clear his mind. There, he encountered old Mr. Harlan, the village elder who'd taught him mechanics. Boy, wealth ain't worth spit if it costs your integrity, Harlan grumbled. Inspired, Alex called a press conference in the village square. Cameras rolled as he stood beside Elena, firewood stacked symbolically nearby. I saw my mother carrying firewood, and it reminded me of the woman who gave me everything. My fiancé mocked her, and in that moment, I chose family over facade. He announced stepping down temporarily, redirecting funds to rural aid programs. The crowd murmured, but Elena's proud smile fueled him. Backlash turned to support. Social media erupted with #RootsMatter, stories of similar struggles flooding in. Vosteka's stock rebounded as consumers praised his authenticity. Sophia's scheme backfired, she faced lawsuits for breach of privacy. Alex reconnected with Tommy, partnering on a local workshop for youth inventors. Months passed, healing old wounds. Elena finally accepted some comforts, a cozy addition to the shack, visits to the city on her terms. Alex dated sparingly, focusing on philanthropy. One day, at the community center opening, he met Lila, a teacher from a nearby town. She carried books, not firewood, but her spirit echoed Elena's, kind, grounded. Their bond grew slowly, built on shared values. Years later, Alex looked back on that fateful drive. He'd rebuilt Vostek stronger, emphasizing ethical tech for underserved communities. Married to Lila, with a child on the way, he visited Elena often. She passed peacefully at 78, her last words, "I'm proud, son. You never forgot your roots." Alex's story became legend, inspiring millions. True wealth lies in love, not luxury. In denying Sophia, he'd affirmed his soul. If this tale of redemption touched your heart, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that remind us of what's truly important. Thanks for watching.